right, and you're probably saying, wow, that was a really cool fast riff that he did. 2, 3, 4. Welcome back. Third video on Lullaby of Birdland. All right, so it starts off in F minor, and that's the relative minor of A flat. So this is a key signature with 4 flats in it, A flat major. All right, and the relative minor, you know, you just go down a minor third, right? A good way to find the relative minor is just, right? You got the 1 chord, the 6 chord, which is the relative minor, and then the 4 and the 5, okay? And, you know, a lot of great 50s songs were just kind of based around that chord progression. All right, there's 2 blues scales that you kind of really need to know for this song. First one, let's talk about F minor, and it's a F blues scale. Now, you'll notice that same scale is going to work in A flat major also. So you could get away with just kind of staying on that 1 blues scale, like for the whole chorus. You know, you could go, a lullaby of Birdland. See, that was a little 2-5-1 there. B flat minor to E flat 7th to A flat major 7th, still using the same blues scale. But you should also be aware that when you get to the A flat, there's, you know, you can use the A flat blues scale as well, which is this one. Right? So it's good to be able to kind of switch back and forth between those blues scales quickly and adroitly, quickly and effortlessly. Now, here's the problem I'm having. I've been working on different fingerings for the blues scale, and you know, for F, a typical way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. But another one I've been working on, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'd be really interested in other piano players, you know, what fingering they like for the, say, the F blues scale. I mean, I can do it pretty fast without looking at it, you know. So, okay. But and the same problem with A flat, you know. You can do it this way: 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's like start on 4, come down, and then 3, 1, 3, 1, like that. So that part, and then 3, 1, and that feels pretty good. But there's kind of another way of doing it: cross with 3 here, and then 3 here, and that way you get, you know, a 3-finger type scale, which, you know, doesn't feel quite as good as the other one, but you know, I can do that one also without looking at it, so it can't be too bad. So let's see, where shall we start? Well, you know, I always like to put a little something new in these improvisational videos, instead of just going over the typical stuff of, yeah, you know, when you have a 2-5-1, use the diminished scale and that kind of stuff. So, you know, it starts in F minor, and you could just think in F minor. And here's something new. Look at the scale in E minor for just a second. All right, it's like a chromatic approach tone to each chord tone. All right, in F, there's a nice fingering. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you got these little shapes. This one, and this one. right? And then it would start over again, right? So a good way to practice that, do it as a block. Those 4, these 4, and these 4, yeah. And then. All right, so there I just used the 2 different blues scales there. Let's talk a little bit just conceptually about this for a second. I saw a video recently, you know, I watch all the same channels you guys do. I watch Amy Nolte and Rick Beato and Adam Neely and Ken Hewitt and all those other, you know, and I think they're all great, I really do. And one of them was talking about, well, you know, you got to sing the notes and hear the cool tones. Like, you know, can you go do da 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 do da do 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 do. You know, be able to sing the cool notes and everything. Well, you know, I think that's in a way. I think in some ways that could be putting the cart before the horse. You're not going to just stumble upon, I mean, you're not going to be able to sing those kind of notes or hear those kind of notes just right off the bat. I think what you've got to do is do something like, you know, take a cool scale, you know, if you're doing a 2-5-1, say, and you got to say a G7, that's usually a minor in a 2-5-1, but in this song it's a dominant. And then suppose you're going to use, say, the altered scale there, right? Now, you know, by just messing around with the altered scale in that context, you know, you got to play the other stuff. All right, and here's one on E flat. All right, and I think, you know, you just mess around with those scales until you come across those really cool notes. Then you kind of learn how to hear them and learn how to go for them. You've got to kind of find them first. And so just take the scales, you know, when you're on the, all right, and then I'll switch to diminished. All right, you know, the diminished gives you that cool flat 5. You know, but I don't expect you to just, you know, be able to sing ba 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 da da like that. It'd be great if you could, but you know, you gotta, you know, dig around with the scales, and you know, if singing is your goal, you know, learn the scales and then sing what you're doing. So anyway, that's just my take on it. And let me tell you a little story. I was in my, I guess, early mid 20s maybe. Mid to late 20s, working on a cruise ship, and I was like in the piano bar, but in the show band was a great piano player named George Whitty, and I think he was just right out of Berkeley College or something, and he practiced his butt off all the time. And go check him out, George Whitty. I mean, he's played like with everybody famous. He's an outstanding musician and out there still writing arrangements for Herbie Hancock and all kinds of great stuff. So check him out. And he also teaches too online, I think. But anyway, he was practicing one day, and he was doing something like a 2-5-1, like say E minor to A7 to D major or something like that. And he was doing this on the A. He was playing the E flat pentatonic and doing some kind of a pattern like something like that. And here's how it kind of would sound in a 2-5-1. You know, you go. Let's see, do something faster. You know, something like that. And he was saying, "Oh, I've been practicing this for a while, and I'm just starting to hear it." You know, it wasn't like he heard it first and then went for it. It was like, well, you know, according to the rules of harmony, I ought to be able to use an E flat pentatonic. That's a tritone away from A, and it gives you an A altered type of sound, you know, that kind of sound. And he was doing a pattern, something like that anyway. He was practicing it before he could really even hear it. And as he played, he said, "Oh yeah, now I'm hearing it. And I just thought that was pretty interesting. And at the time, I couldn't hear it. I hadn't had one single lesson in jazz at that point. I was pretty much a novice playing like Billy Joel songs up in the piano bar. All right, let's get back to the improv on this song here. So we could use that cool chromatic thing here. And then back to F minor, and then a 2-5-1. All right, so you just got to use all your regular stuff for a 2-5-1. Use Dorian, and then take your pick on the dominant chord. Diminished, altered, Lydian dominant, whatever you like, whole tone scale. And then you got another one. Of course, those rootless voicings for the G and the C make it sound pretty cool. Now, when you get to the bridge, you could try a little reharm. It's F7 to B flat minor to E flat 7 to A flat. But what if we made them all dominant chords? And you could alter it like that. And that's the E flat chord. No, wait a minute, that's F7, sorry, that's F7, and then B flat 7, and then E flat 7, and then maybe even A flat 7, and then do it again, and then you can come up with some stuff like... And you're probably saying, wow, that was a really cool, fast riff that he did. And, I only play a riff like that if there's a piano player in the audience that I need to impress. So it's kind of like something like Chopin does, kind of, in a way. It's a little approach tones. So it's an A-flat scale, going for these chord tones. And, at one point I worked on that in all 12 keys, and it doesn't work very well in some keys. It's uncomfortable. But in A flat, I don't know, I have it. D flat. F. And there's little variations on that too, Here's a Chopin riff. Well, that part isn't, but... it comes out of Etude number 8 in F major. So anyway, if you're kind of a beginning improviser, this is a fairly difficult song because of the key that it's in, A flat major. And, you can't expect to sound like, one of my favorite 3 older piano players right off the bat. In fact, even after years of practice, you can't expect to sound as good as they do. But, your improv might be pretty basic at the beginning. B section. Let's use a lot of diminished this time. Another thing too that you want to do, and I'm bad at this myself for sure, is to end your solo something pretty confident sounding. You don't want to end your solo kind of meandering off like you're ashamed of what you did. You want to and practice the ends of your solo, even if you have to work out something to rely on. In this particular song, I'm just kind of ending with that little horn stab. Another thing I like to do when I'm soloing is do a little comping at the same time. Like I might go like and then put some chords in there like you're comping for yourself. And, you know, I guess I should talk a little bit about like the way George Shearing solos a lot of the time, which is, you know, the locked hand style. So let's go to the B section again. We'll look at that F chord, and we could do like a sharp 9 or an altered type of chord there. And you can move that down in minor thirds. Actually, this is diminished shit right here. And then you can do it in E flat here. What would it be? Anyway, listen to George Shearing. He's the master at that. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all my new subscribers and all my old ones, and we'll keep them coming. Have a great day. Bye.